Christian mystics and esoteric theologians claim that Christ appears throughout the Old Testament, centuries before the incarnation, as the angel of the Lord who wrestles Jacob, the mysterious Melchizedek who blesses Abraham, the fourth figure in Nebuchadnezzar's furnace, and the divine wisdom in Proverbs who existed far before creation, teaching that the Logos wasn't born in Bethlehem but has been active in human history since the very beginning, appearing wherever God directly encounters humanity. This is Christophany, and understanding these pre-incarnate appearances reveals why Jesus said, quote, "Before Abraham was, I am," why the early church fathers saw Christ hidden throughout the Hebrew scriptures, and why the word made flesh in John's gospel is the same word who spoke creation into being in Genesis. Let's start with the angel of the Lord. The angel of the Lord appears throughout the Old Testament with very unique characteristics. He speaks as God in first person, receives worship that angels refuse, and bears God's name. This isn't a created angel, but God himself in visible form. Genesis 18 shows three men visiting Abraham, but the narrative shifts between they and the Lord. One of the three is YHWH himself in human form, and church fathers identified this as Christ far before incarnation. The angel who wrestles Jacob says, quote, "You have striven with God and with men and have prevailed." Not an angel, but God manifested. Christian mystics say that this was the pre-incarnate Christ engaging Jacob physically. Exodus even shows the angel of the Lord in the burning bush telling Moses, quote, "I am the God of your fathers." The angel is God, and patristic tradition identifies this as the Logos appearing to Moses. And then there's Melchizedek. Genesis 14 introduces Melchizedek, priest of God Most High, who appears suddenly, blesses Abraham, receives tithes, and then vanishes. Hebrews 7 says he's, quote, "without father, without mother, without genealogy, having neither beginning of days nor end of life, made like the Son of God," end quote. Early Christians debated whether Melchizedek was a human type of Christ or Christ himself appearing temporarily. The fact that he brings bread and wine, Eucharistic elements, strengthens the Christophany interpretation a lot. Psalm 110 even says, "You are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek." The Messiah holds Melchizedek's eternal priesthood. If Melchizedek was Christ, the prophecy makes perfect sense. But it gets even crazier than that. Daniel 3 shows Nebuchadnezzar throwing three Hebrews into the furnace and then exclaiming, quote, "I see four men walking in the fire, and the fourth looks like a son of the gods," end quote. Someone divine appears in the fire to protect the faithful. Church fathers unanimously identified the fourth figure as Christ, the Son of God appearing before incarnation to deliver his servants, walking untouched through fire that should destroy all flesh. This establishes the pattern. Wherever divine deliverance occurs through a visible divine presence, Christian tradition sees the pre-incarnate Logos acting in history. And then of course there's divine wisdom. Proverbs 8 personifies wisdom as existing before creation, saying, quote, "The Lord possessed me at the beginning of his work, before his deeds of old. I was formed before the earth began," end quote. Early Christians identified wisdom with Christ, the eternal Logos through whom God created, who existed before time and who delights in humanity. Sophia Christology sees Jesus as the incarnation of divine wisdom herself. So don't forget,